Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to have you here. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with us. I think it will be worth your time, and I know that you are going to enjoy what we have to share. My name is Mapuana Mergel. I live in Southern California. I host Friday classes for everybody on my team, customers, sharers, and builders, to come together and learn how to use dōTERRA products to create a healthy lifestyle. We cover a variety of subjects, but today, in fact, for the whole month of August, we have been focusing on the subject of metabolic health, what it means for us now, as well as in the future. And so you are in for a treat today, because our beautiful friend, Beth Phillips, will be presenting. She's going to be talking about how to live longer, how to live younger longer, right? So thank you so much for joining us. I am going to pin her now. She has so much information to share. I highly recommend getting out a notebook and a pen, and then also paying attention to the chat, because we will be sharing different links that you'll want to copy and paste so you can save it and refer back to the information to review it. Okay, so thank you so much, Beth, for sharing all this information and doing this presentation with us. Go ahead and take it away. I'll be here if you need me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys, I know it's Friday. I know it's Friday evening, and I am so happy that you're taking the time to be here with us today. As you probably have heard, we got to get a little sneak peek inside of what dōTERRA is going to be offering at our annual convention next month. And they've never told us about a product line this early before. So the reason being is they've been using it. They've been using it for the past 6 to 9 months, and earlier iterations even longer than that. And they're so excited with the results they are seeing and feeling. They can't keep it to themselves. And so they started sharing little bits and pieces with us. So I'm going to tell you what we know so far and why it's important, and then how we find out the rest, so that you can jump in and start using these when we start using them if you want to. So the importance of the topics today that we're going to cover is multifaceted, and we only have a little bit of time together. So I'm going to cover as many of the details that I can, and I'm going to have to jump around a little bit to kind of paint you the whole picture of exactly what they are bringing to us, because this is no small feat. This has not been done before. So a couple of the things that I heard that were key words to me when they started talking about them, there was 3 different areas. The first one was insulin resistance. And the second was fat cell maturation. And the third was diabetes type 3, which is also being associated with dementia. So all 3 of these categories are big pain points in our lives, and they develop over a period of time. And so we can be developing them decades before we know that we have them, and before they show up in blood work. So that's why it's so important that we get to know about this information now, so that we can be doing proactive things to influence our health and not reactive things, because when we're proactive, it's 10 times as powerful as when we're reactive. So first off, what is insulin? What is glucose? What are we talking about? So every organ system in the body has a sensitive relationship with insulin, all of them. And this relationship is so important that when insulin gets dysfunctional, it turns into a contributing factor of some of the biggest chronic conditions that we hear about today, including dementia. That association is kind of just starting to come out, and is really relevant in the times that we're living. So insulin is a chemical messenger. It circulates through the bloodstream, and it affects every single cell in the body, including our bones, our brain, and our muscle cells. And the importance of this function of insulin is to help pull energy from food. So when we eat, our body breaks down carbohydrates, and it produces, among other things, glucose. As glucose enters the bloodstream, it rises above its baseline, and it sends a signal to the pancreas to create insulin and release insulin. Insulin is a hormone that takes glucose out of the blood and it feeds it into our cells so it can be used for energy and also stored for later energy use. Insulin also signals the liver to take in excess glucose and store that for energy production later on as well. And when all that glucose has been accounted for, then the insulin falls back down. And this happens every single time we eat. Our body is trying to find this delicate balance between the glucose that we're taking in and the insulin it needs to put out. So what's happening though is we're finding chronically elevated blood sugar levels, and this has to do with the diet that we're consuming. So Bree and Jonathan Vargas, they did a webinar last week talking about sugar in our diet, and it was fantastic. So if you have not had a chance to watch that yet, Mapawan is going to post the link in the chat right now. Grab that link because they talk so beautifully about how sugar, where it is, and what it's doing to our bodies. So you're going to get a ton of useful information in there. So these complications of the elevated sugar levels over time can lead to damage to our blood vessels, kidneys, our eyes, and our nerves. That's why we hear about type 2 diabetes leading to so many different complications. So again, insulin's supposed to take sugar as we eat it and put it into our cells. But because we are eating so much sugar these days, it is in everything. What's happening is our cells are already full of sugar. They are full all the way to the brim. So the cells actually start turning off. They start deregulating the receptors that the insulin binds to help push this glucose in. So with them turning the receptors off, your pancreas starts pushing out more insulin because there's too much sugar in the blood to push it and force it into these cells that are going, I don't want any more sugar. We are full. We can't take any more sugar here. So our body is pushing extra hard with extra insulin to try to get the sugar in there. So your body's kind of fighting itself. It's trying to protect itself in both ways. You've got too much sugar in the bloodstream, so the body's producing more insulin. Your cells are saying, we are full, we can't accept anymore, and it's blocking it out. So this is what's causing so much insulin resistance in society today. And insulin resistance has not been something that has been known about for that long. So as more research is coming out, they're finding more and more how absolutely fundamental this is to our health, that we work on insulin resistance and that we don't have too much of this going on into our body. Because the longer the insulin tries pushing it into the cells, the more numb the cells become to insulin. And then now you're in a full state of insulin resistance, which can be really damaging to the body because now you just have excess sugar everywhere. So I'm going to pop over and get my slideshow going. While I'm doing that, I want you guys to put into the chat which of these 4 areas are most interesting to you. Having more energy, less brain fog, losing weight, or younger looking skin. Yeah, so I see all of it. I see all of them a lot. And we did in the first class too. Why not, right? We want all of these things. So dōTERRA wants us to live a powerful life, whether we're just starting to feel the effects of aging, or we're wanting to have a healthier lifestyle. Maybe we're young, we're not feeling those effects yet. It's important to look at the body as a whole and to be proactive in taking care of it. So living younger longer has been a mission of dōTERRA since they very first started and came out with Lifelong Vitality, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And here's why. With medical advances, we have seen an increase in lifespan, the length of the years that we are living. In this modern age, that length has increased. We've heard about in previous times, people living to their 40s and 50s, and then something like dysentery would wipe them out, or cholera. And so with medical advances, we've increased these lifespan to the 80s and 90s. But what's happening is with this increase of lifespan, we're not seeing an increase necessarily in health span. And what that means is the years of our life that are healthy. So it's estimated that the average person lives the last 8 years of their life in poor health. So while we may still be alive, it does not mean we are thriving. So if we want to do something different and not just be living longer, but be living longer well, then there's things that we have to incorporate into our life now to exceed these extended years of our life, be healthy years of our life. So what's getting in the way of that? You can see all these things here that we're familiar with. It could be high stress levels, lack of exercise, lack of quality sleep, nutrient deficiency, and exposure to toxins. That's pretty much on the daily for most of us. And I can tell you, we've been running studies for the past few months, and we've been sharing products in the categories of sleep, digestion, pain, and sleep. And the stories that come in from people as we're hosting these events are showing just how much these affect their daily life. I was talking with somebody today who, because of stress, has developed 2 chronic issues that she knows were linked directly to that, but they are massive physical manifestations. So these things happen to us if we're not proactive and if we're not supplementing in some way to help with our daily life. We can't always change our external stressors, but we can change what we're providing our body with to be able to balance this out. So what are these things costing us physically, emotionally, mentally, socially? Thinking about our interactions with our kids, with our friends when we're exhausted. How good are those? How often do we get in fights over stupid things because we're tired? Think about how it impacts your job when your brain is fuzzy. Think about how you're feeling mentally and emotionally each day. Sometimes it is too much up and down and not enough just getting through the day. And some of the biggest factors feeding into this are nutritional deficiencies. So while we're talking about metabolic health, you're going to see this figure here a lot as we are talking about this line, because I think this is what got the doctors at dōTERRA to be looking into this area of the body so much, because you have to think about if 94% of people are not doing well in this category, this is a category that needs to be addressed. So it's estimated that about 6.8% of the population has optimal cardiometabolic health. That means 14 out of 15 people do not. We've got high blood glucose, high blood lipid levels, blood pressure that's out of range, and cardiovascular things that are happening. So if 14 out of 15 people are not doing well in this area, chances are we or somebody that we care about is affected by this issue. Where does it stem from? Well, in addition to the factors that we talked about a minute ago, stress, lack of sleep, lack of exercise, there's also nutritional deficiencies. And part of that comes from the endless access to processed foods that we have in our modern, busy daily life. We're so accustomed to taking in these things that actually have such little nutritional value that our bodies are in a lack. And then sometimes we do eat really healthy, and it is something that we pay attention to, but there's also factors in that that are kind of working against us. So you can see here, this chart shows the number of adult Americans who aren't reaching their daily nutritional requirements for specific vitamins and minerals. And the huge bummer is that even when we are trying to eat well, it's not always affecting these numbers, and here's why. Today's healthy foods are still very different from the historic diets our genes were accustomed to and programmed for. For many decades, agricultural breeding has always had the goal of improving the yield, so the quantity of food that is coming out of the crop, and the taste. And since many of the micronutrients, the stuff that's actually good for us, doesn't taste very good, they've been inadvertently bred out of our food. So an example of this here you see on the slide is a crab apple, one of those little apples, not super shiny, but this one has 100 times more phytonutrients and more vitamin C than the shiny apples that we see in the grocery store today. And those ones have been bred for sugar. So their sugar content is massively high and the nutritional value is exceedingly low. So you can see how our nutritional needs cannot always be met through food, and why many of us, even if we're trying to eat a healthy diet, fall way below the recommended daily dose of essential vitamins and minerals. So I know this can seem a little bit disheartening, but the thing is, it's happening. We can either ignore it and pretend it's not happening, or we can do something about it. So that's what we're going to talk about next. Because the very cool thing is our body has an amazing capacity to thrive when it's given what it needs. It wants to be healthy. It craves balance and vitality. That is the goal of our body. So we are very blessed to have a company whose life's work is to provide that for us on a cellular level. That is the best way to take in the nutrients and the best way for our body to be able to use it in the areas that it needs it most. So let's work on increasing those health spans. What are some of the solutions that we can talk about? We're going to talk about necessary fundamental supplements that give our body the energy that it needs to repair and heal. And then we're going to get into the new product because I know that's what you guys are excited to hear about. So I'm going to super briefly talk about lifelong vitality. This powerhouse trio of supplements is so intensive. We teach a whole class on this because there is so much goodness. There are so many ingredients inside of these bottles that are doing so many things for us that we can teach a whole class on it, but I'm just going to brush over it just so that you understand that this is a part of the foundation for us being well. So how many of you guys are taking lifelong vitality? Raise your virtual hand or comment in the chat if you are using this 3-pack. I see the hands going up. That's so cool. So this is one of dōTERRA's flagship products because it contains the essential vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, and antioxidants that we're missing from our food. Our cells are constantly turning over and manufacturing new cells. What do you think the quality of those cells is going to be if our body is extremely nutrient deficient? Not good, right? So it's kind of like the game of telephone. As we age, the message is being passed around the room, and each time it's missing a little bit more. And by the end, either the meaning is gone or it's changed completely. That's where bad cells come from. And what do you think bad cells go on and do? Do you think bad cells go on and create good cells, or do bad cells go on and create weaker and weaker cells? That's what's happening, and that's what we don't want to happen. And so that's why we need to make sure that we're getting these essential nutrients inside of our body every single day so that our body has the energy to turn over good, healthy cells. And absorption is key. So my good friend, Dr. Hannah, a lot of you guys know her. She says we are not what we eat, but we are what we can absorb. And this is what is important to note about dōTERRA and why every product that they come out with is so special. They don't just stick buzzword ingredients on the label. They study how ingredients respond in the body, and they look for the best way to introduce that supplementation to our body in a way that our body can benefit with the highest level of absorption. This is what sets us apart from other companies. Ingredients don't matter if we're not absorbing them. And so that's what they're constantly looking at. Number one, they source the best ingredients. Number two, they combine them in a way that is easy for our body and not hard on our organs. And number three, they give it to our body in a way that it is presented to have maximum absorption. Those three things are what sets us apart. So have any of you guys ever lived or been in a very dry climate? A place where, like a desert where you see, even in Santa Clarita where I used to live, I don't consider that a desert, but the ground would get so dry and so hard, it was like cement and it would crack. And something that had always seemed so backwards to me, and the first time I saw it, I remember I was a little kid and I was just in shock that we were out, I think, camping or something, and really dry dirt, really dense, very parched, and it started to rain. And what I expected was the rain, the ground would just soak it up, but it didn't. What does it do? It runs off, which seems so crazy. Why would the ground that needs the water so much, would it run off? Well, it's because this ground is no longer in a state where it can absorb the water, even though it needs it so badly. And this happened twice in the last few weeks in Las Vegas. Did you guys hear about the flooding that they had there? Massive flooding. It was inside the casinos. It was running down the street. Cars were driving through feet of water. And so I was reading an article about it, and I reread the article 2 times. And then I went and looked for a different article because I thought there'd been a misprint. Because what it said was the flooding had come after 0.58 inches of rain. And I'm like, I thought it was it's probably 5.8 inches of rain. It can't be half an inch of rain caused all this flooding. Because where we live, half an inch of rain is a drizzle. It's nothing. So, but no, it was 0.58 inches of rain. And that's because the ground cannot accept the water. It's so dry there. So it just runs off. Well, our bodies are the same way. They don't absorb something just because we introduce a healthy compound to it. It has to be in a form that is acceptable to the body. And so that's why it's so important, the homework that dōTERRA does. And again, why our products are so different than others on the market that claim to do the same. Most of the time, they have just combined buzzword ingredients into a mix and sell it. And while it may offer some benefit, it's nothing like what you're going to experience with what we're going to talk about. Okay, so this is a quick snapshot of what it would look like to get the same level of nutrition from our food. Because I know sometimes we think, okay, I know I need to up my nutrition. I'm just going to eat better. Well, this is what it would take to get the same amount of nutrients that we can find inside of Lifelong Vitality. It's just a ton of food. And the reason being, it holds so little value compared to what it used to be when our great-grandparents were eating it. So we have to eat so many times more. So the reason we're talking about Lifelong Vitality is because these give our body the energy that it needs to put the rest of the goodness that we're going to be introducing to it to work. It's like putting gas in your car. You can have a beautiful fancy car. You could have a Ferrari or Corvette, but if you have no gas in the gas tank, you're not going anywhere. We can have a great body, but if we don't have nutrition and energy in there, we're not going anywhere. So now we're going to talk about what's coming out next month. So dōTERRA is launching a cutting edge system to optimize our metabolic health. In September, they're going to be releasing this incredible line to help maximize our metabolism. And I'll tell you what we know about it so far. So first off, what is metabolic health? We keep using this word. It's a big word. What does it mean? Metabolic health is how we generate and process the energy in our body. It's how well our body can digest and absorb the nutrients from the food that we're eating without sugar spikes. It's important to avoid these big sugar spikes because they contribute to unfavorable long-term impacts on our health. Having good metabolic health lowers our chance of contracting a lot of the chronic issues that plague people in later age. So poor diet, high stress, sedentary lifestyle, all of these impact our metabolic health and put us at risk for blood pressure, blood sugar, and issues with our hearts, and also a larger waistline than we would like. They're all connected. Metabolic health and biological age are inseparable. So most of us are familiar with the idea that our lifestyle choices affect our physical appearance. We try to hit the gym or walk or move more when we got a trip coming up, right? Because we want to be looking and feeling our best. And we know that this affects our physical appearance. But if we remember that only 6 to 8% of the population actually has good metabolic health, and metabolic imbalances contribute to the signs of early aging, the same is true of our biological age. Even though we may have genetic factors, things that run in our family, our lifestyle choices make the biggest difference. The same list of things that make you look older on the outside makes your cells act old on the inside. And some of the latest research at Harvard and other organizations shows that metabolic health and biologic age are inseparable. So you know how some people look younger than they are, and some people look older than they are. That has to do with how their metabolic health is. Some people have a better metabolic age than others, and it affects how we age. So we want to look and feel younger from the inside out. So they have given Slim and Sassy a makeover. You guys may be familiar with Slim and Sassy. This was a metabolic blend that's been out for a number of years. It was created with diabetics in mind to help the body balance and process blood sugars in a better way. And they've re-examined and revamped this blend, and it is coming out and it's called MetaPWR. Meta stands for metabolic, and power stands for personal wellness realized. So on this slide, the coolest line to me is the first one. Inhibits fat cell maturation. Do you know what that means? All of our cells have a life cycle. This is one of the things they were studying when they were reformulating this blend. They're literally looking at fat cells under a microscope to see what happens when they're exposed to this blend of oils. And that's because our fat cells are kind of unique. They are influenced to hold on to fat. And once we have fat cells form, they might shrink when we lose weight, but they don't disappear ever. We never get rid of fat cells. So I found a study on PubMed that was talking about fat cells, and it said a decrease in body weight only changes the fat cell size, meaning they become smaller. I've heard they just kind of like, they'll flatten out. But as soon as we introduce fat back into them, they blow up again. So do you guys ever feel like sometimes you feel like you gained 3 pounds overnight and you don't know how that's even possible because you didn't even eat that much? We have these fat cells in there, and toxicity and stress and different things can cause them to balloon up again. So this part was funny. So a decrease in body weight only changes fat cell size. They can become smaller. Whereas an increase in body weight causes elevation of both the fat cell size and the number of fat cells that we have. So we can shrink them, but they never go away. And if you feed them, they grow and multiply. That's those little buggers. So what they've been able to show through clinical studies they're performing on this MetaPWR line is it inhibits fat cell maturity. It means that they could look at young cells and see the influence over what type of cells they would become as people were taking this product while they were consuming food. So how cool is that to be able to influence cells from becoming fat cells? This is huge. So we're not saying you can sit around and eat donuts all day and take MetaPWR with it and you're going to be healthy. That's not what we're saying. But if you eat a good diet that happens to contain some sugar, because everything that we eat does, then this is going to help the body from turning everything into this excess glucose that then gets shoved into cells that are already overwhelmed and turn into fat cells. So this is really awesome information. So excited about this. Okay, so let me see. This is how we are starting to see how, like, what a game-changing sequence this product line is going to be, because it's hitting so many different categories in the body that are major things. So this is the MetaPWR oil line. So this is Slim and Sassy revamped. So you've got your, let me move this over here. You've got the oil. So this is the 15 ml oil that we're used to having, like Slim and Sassy oil. We're going to have beadlets now. So those are great for on the go. If you're out to lunch, you can just pop them, take them with your lunch, and you're getting that oil blend in you. There's a gum that's going to help with cravings and help with hunger between meals. And then a soft gel, which is the essential oil inside of a soft gel for people who just want to take a pill and be done with it. So that is what is coming out with the MetaPWR line. Okay, next we have the MetaPWR Metabolic Assist. So this is a brand new product we've never had before, and it is going to be debuting as part of this kit. And my favorite part on this slide is where it talks about decreasing post-meal glucose spikes. So this is important for everybody to know. Every time we're eating and every time we consume sugar, we have a blood sugar spike. And every time we have a blood sugar spike, we age. They are inseparably linked. These blood sugar spikes cause aging in the body. And it's estimated that we have around 40 of these per day, 40 of these blood sugar spikes per day. So there was a study done at Stanford, which showed diabetic level glucose spikes in 70% of the participants. These were just regular people who were not diabetic, and 70% of them showed diabetic level glucose spikes while they were taking this test. And it's because of the amount of sugar that is in everything we eat. I'm telling you, when you watch Brie and Jonathan's webinar, you're going to see how inundated our bodies are with sugar. So if we think about just a normal day, we have coffee with creamer, sugar, spike. Maybe you have oatmeal that's flavored, spike, yogurt, spike. You have a salad with lunch that has dressing, spike, ketchup, barbecue sauce, wine. All the stuff that we're consuming each day contains sugar in it and is causing these spikes consistently all day long and aging our body. So if you want, after we're done with the call, go take a look at the packages of some of the things that you consume. Chances are, if it comes from your pantry, it contains sugar. And if you don't see it in the nutritional facts, read the ingredients, because they're getting really creative with what they're calling sugar substitutes. There's all kinds of names for it now. There used to only be a few, so we thought we could identify when it had fake sugar in it. But now they've come up with all sorts of fun names to try to hide it from us. And fake sugar is like way worse for us than even real sugar. So it's good to take a look and see what we're consuming and what our kids are consuming. It is in so much of the food that goes inside of their lunchbox. It's unreal. So yeah, definitely take a look at some of the packaging. So taking MetaPWR Assist, there was a study that showed a 13% decrease in the glucose in the body when it was taken with meals. So this is lowering our chronically elevated blood sugar levels every single day. This is huge, and it's going to directly impact weight gain and insulin resistance. So how cool is this? And how many people can you think of in your life that need this product to be something that they're taking every single day to help their body process all of this excess sugar? Okay, so that's metabolic assist. Next, we have MetaPWR Advantage. And I know it's kind of small on your screen, but I just wanted to, if you can, type into the chat, what do you see this product contains? It is in the small print under MetaPWR Advantage. What's in here?
Collagen.
Collagen. Okay, so it contains collagen. This has probably been one of the most requested products from dōTERRA for the last few years, but dōTERRA is not going to bring something to market until they can do it different and better than it's ever been done before. So it's taken them a while because they've been working on this process. So I'm going to read you the technical description, break it down a little bit, but first, to make this easier to understand, I have to explain what NAD is. So you may have heard about NAD over the last couple of years. It was something people were taking to boost their immune systems, and it got quite popular over the past few years as people were looking to protect their DNA and to boost their immune systems. It's a molecule that triggers shifts that enhance survival, including boosting energy production and upregulating cell repair. So that's why people were taking it if they were traveling, if they thought they were going to be exposed, if they were going to like a high population event, they were taking extra NAD to boost their energy production and upregulate their cellular repair. It helps convert food to energy, but probably the most important thing that it does is it is crucial in maintaining our DNA integrity. DNA integrity is our life, you guys. When our DNA falls apart, we fall apart. So this is a vital process that's happening inside of the body. It helps protect our bodies from aging and disease. So this is something that's naturally occurring in our body, and it is necessary. And it's probably been never more necessary than it is right now. So there's a study that Mapu's going to post a link in the chat that was really cool. And it talks about NAD and also NMN, which is what is contained inside of here, and the aging process. So as dōTERRA was looking at the importance of NAD, they said, how can we do it better? So they went back a step They said, instead of supplementing NAD, which can be hard for the body to absorb, let's supplement NMN, which is the precursor, so that the body creates NAD on its own. And anytime our body is creating something on its own, it is going to be way more effective. So how cool is that? They have taken it back a step, kind of like deconstructed it to look under the hood and said, yes, we could just put NAD in there, but it's not going to be as absorbable. But if we put in NMN, the precursor, the body can absorb it, and then it will produce NAD on its own. So that's going to be optimizing our metabolic health. And this is where we're talking about extending our health span. This is where we start extending the good, healthy years of our life. So now we're going to talk about the collagen. While most collagen products use only 1 or 2 collagen peptides, MetaPWR Advantage contains 9. Each support a different biological system, from bone and cartilage strength to skin elasticity. A supplement's delivery system is crucial to its bioavailability. That means how readily your cells can uptake what's being presented to them. And that is especially true of collagen. Additional ingredients in MetaPWR Advantage are resveratrol and NMN, which can influence the expression of several aging genetic pathways to ensure you are not only living longer, but you are also living well. Collagen is the most abundant protein in our body. It's found all over our body and even our brain. So that's why it is so important. And that's why it mentions on the slide that it improves cognitive function. We are now feeding our brain, which is so important as we are getting older and we're aging. This is something we don't want to lose our mental faculties. We don't want to start forgetting stuff. And so this is a way we can be proactive in extending these healthy cognitive years of our life. What do you guys think about that? Okay, so I wanted to show this graph to you because we were talking about NAD. This is our DNA protector. So by the time we've reached age 50, our levels have dropped to about half of what they were when we were 20. So at the age of about 20, it starts dropping off. And so that's when we can start to experience changes in our health. Late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s is when we're starting to not feel very well, decreased energy, hard time getting weight off, a little brain fog going on. That's because this NAD is depleting in our body. So imagine how we're going to feel when we are boosting that back up. How cool is that? Okay, so it's all tied together. We have the MetaPWR oil to help with fat cell maturation. We're going to help those fat cells not mature into full-blown cells, and we're going to start taking glucose out of the system. We have the MetaPWR Assist to help the body with those glucose spikes. So this is something you take when you're eating. So it can help keep those spikes from happening so that we're slowing down that aging process in the body, which also leads to insulin resistance and weight gain and a lot of other health issues. This is something we're adding while we're eating so that it helps the body regulate it without having to produce all the more insulin, without having too much glucose running freely, ravaging our body. And then we have the MetaPWR Advantage, which is in a powder form, and that is the collagen and the NMN, which is going to support our skin and our biological aging. It activates longevity genes in our body, which helps increase our health spans, and it improves skin's firmness and elasticity, also improving cognitive function. This is one of the biggest benefits I've been hearing. So dōTERRA has been running different test groups over the year. And the ones that I've been hearing that have been taking it, which I think is such a cool takeaway, because people are losing weight. That we're seeing it when we're watching them on Zooms and they're in webinars. One of the girls that is part of dōTERRA's marketing team, she's dropped 30 pounds and she looks amazing. So weight loss is great, but what I think is even more great, they're all talking about their mental clarity and their cognitive function and how much better they feel. So the looking great is the byproduct of how much better their body is doing on the inside. And that's what we're excited about. Muscle tone is increasing. One of our girls on our team is in the pilot right now. She's in the test group. She just sent me before and after pictures a couple days ago. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing with your back? Your back looks amazing. So she's getting more muscle tone and definition because of this product. So it is the whole package, the whole enchilada. It is tackling these key areas of our body, and people are seeing benefits that are making them feel 10 years younger. So who wishes they could start this tomorrow? Raise your hand. I know, we all did too. When they told us about this, we're like, how do we get our hands on it right now? So we all get
100 boxes.
I know, right? So we do get to. So we're going to tell you how. Okay, so every year at our annual convention, which happens in September, dōTERRA releases all the new products inside of a kit. It's called the convention kit, and it is a discounted bundle. This metabolic line is part of that bundle this year. So it's going to be released on September 15th. And normally you have to be an in-person attendee to be able to purchase the kit. But this year they've added an additional way for people to be able to buy this kit, and that is with a virtual ticket. So for just $35, you can purchase a virtual ticket to convention. What's cool about that is you get to watch the product reveal on Thursday, September 15th, right along with us. So we're going to be in Salt Lake City, Utah, watching dōTERRA present from the stage all these products and what they do. And we get to know more about them. I mean, they told us a lot, but they've not told us everything. So we get to learn more that day as well. And you'll be able to see it right along with us. And then you're going to get 30-minute highlights from the rest of convention. So we're there all the way through Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, you'll get 30-minute highlights of the information that we learned while we were there. And with that, you also get access to buy the convention kit on September 15th and have it delivered to your door. So that is really cool. Right from your home, you guys, right from your computer, just like you're doing now. So go to heal.doterra.com and you'll see where you can purchase the essential virtual ticket. And then you'll be able to get a convention kit with us and start in September, because otherwise the products themselves individually won't go on sale until October. So if you want to get started with us in September, this is the only way to do that. So that's a month from now. What can we be doing right now to prep our bodies and set them up to see the maximum benefits from these products? There's something really easy we can do. So get started today with your lifelong vitality. We talked about that and how important it is for our nutrient deficient bodies and cells to have the nutrition it needs to have the energy to turn over good, healthy cells. So start fueling your body with these nutrients. Get the engines going, blow the dust and the cobwebs off, and get everything fired up so that next month, when we introduce all these amazing compounds to it, your body is primed and ready. So this is a picture of the Healthy Habits Kit. This is a great place to start if you don't have any products yet. It's $195. It has your lifelong vitality, your enzymes, which really aid in digestion. If you have any kind of digestive issues, this is key. Probiotics, which help with good health, good gut health, and then Deep Blue Rub, because we typically all have aches and pains on some portion of our body. And then it has 5 different oils that are just easy daily use oils. On Guard for our immune system, Tangerine for detoxing, it's a citrus, Balance for overwhelm, frankincense for everything, it's the king of oils, and lavender to help us get some restful sleep at night so our body can repair. That's what's included in this kit. So, and if you have a dōTERRA account already, you can purchase this same kit on your loyalty rewards. It's called the Daily Habits Kit. It's $185, and you'll earn back the points from your loyalty rewards purchase. So if you're at 30% right now, that's over $50 in free oils that you're going to get in addition to the ones that you're getting inside the kit. So now we're going to pop in the chat a link for a handout that you can print out and then refer back to, and it's going to remind you of some of the things that we talked about today. So MetaPWR is adding that to the chat for you. So grab that. And we're 1 month out, you guys. We're 1 month out from these new products. So it is time to prime our bodies. Priming is a state or time of greatest strength, vigor, or success in a person's life. Wellness is a combination of the things that we do each day. It's not the big things we do once in a while. It's the little things we do every single day, daily habits and lifestyle choices. If we want to be the healthiest version of ourselves, the best way is by building habits. And taking the guesswork out of it is why this kit was created, so that you know very easily what the steps are that you can be doing on a daily basis to help move the needle in these important areas of your life. So in conclusion, I just wanted to share, every decision we're making is either moving us closer to or further away from our health. And we only get this one body. This is what takes us around. This is what takes care of our family. And we're the only one that's going to take care of it. Nobody else is going to do it for us. So there's no better investment that we can do with our time or our money than invest in our health, because that's how we take care of ourselves. And then that's how we continue to take care of others. And I wanted to show this to you. I just saw this earlier today, and I thought it was so adorable and so meaningful. And no matter what happens in your life, you can start over. So it doesn't matter what stage of your life you are at. It doesn't matter what wellness path you've been on up until this point. It's not too late to have better health. And the time is now. So no matter where you are in your life, the time to get started with this is now. And we are encouraging you to spend the rest of this year with us, investing in your health and partnering alongside of us. There's going to be a challenge that's coming out once the MetaPWR line comes out. So everybody's using it, knowing how to use it correctly for a month. That's going to start in October. If you are getting started with the Healthy Habits Kit, we have a woman on our team, Claudia, who's putting together an unboxing video for you. So you're going to know how to use the products inside of there. We are here with you along in this journey. We've been doing it. We love doing it. We want to see your success. We want to see you feeling better. And the reason to do this is so that we can start turning back that biological clock and that biological age. Because if not, it's going to keep moving forward. And we have the opportunity, because of all the homework and all the work that dōTERRA has put into this, to give our body the best benefits that it could have. So we really want to encourage you to get started with us and to see what's going to be happening over the next few months. So a lot of us who are working with the oils, we've been getting blood work done over the past week or so to get some baseline labs. And after we've been on the product for a series of months, we're going to get it done again. And then we're going to share the results, because we're going to be moving numbers and we want to move numbers right along with you. So I hope this was informative for you guys and you got inspired to start looking at your health in a new way. And for those around you, I know I've got, my parents are on my mind, my brother's on my mind, like there's people that I want to be doing this with us. So if you've got those people that have come to mind that could really benefit from incorporating this into their daily life, it's a great time to let them know. And we're going to have this recording available so that if you want to share it with them, you can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth. I hope you could see the chat now and how everybody is dropping in. Thank you. This is so informative. They are excited about the new product. There's a lot to learn, right? We have so much information available to us. And so the recording is going to be posted on Oil Mavens, Beth's Facebook page, as well as I think Return to Wellness. And if you want it sent to you privately, please reach out to your upline who invited you to this class, because they will have access to it. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. Our Friday classes usually only last about 30 minutes, but we knew we were going to go overtime today, right? And so if you have additional questions, you go ahead and ask your upline or whoever brought you to this class, or reach out to Beth or me privately on Instagram or Facebook. Okay, we'll be happy to help you. We're going to wrap it up with a raffle, like I always do every week. I give away an oil, and today I am sharing a roller bottle of tea tree. I think tea tree belongs in every household, right? And so today I have Michael Chapman, who is the winner. Congratulations, Michael. Can you unmute yourself and let us know where you are joining from and who invited you?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the raffle. My name is Michael Chapman from Nashville, Tennessee, and it was actually Beth that invited me. So, yeah, and I'm very glad for it. It was informative, very educational. A lot of stuff that I did know and a lot of stuff I didn't know at the same time. So, I thank you for tonight.
You're very welcome. So happy that you could join us and continue learning. I know that you're going to love the product once you get your hands on it. So, all right, everybody, that's all the time that we have tonight. It's 6:20. I'm signing off.
Okay.
My name is Mapuana.
Okay.
I
Mapuana,
am
thank you
here
again.
You're welcome. I'm here to remind you, use essential oils and supplements in your life every single day. Ciao, ciao. We'll see you next week.